speaker is Robert Ripp, representing himself.
Hello, I'm from Robert Ripp from Massapequa, New York. A couple of interests. Now, Mr. Saladino, I noticed on one of your old assembly promotions that you have down that you continue to assist people dealing with the ravages of Superstorm Sandy and getting the New York Rising Awards. I have some information that I received through the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery, which is indicative that it appears that you applied and received New York State Rising Grant Fund Awards. And I'm curious because when you speak about transparency and openness, and I put a FOIL request in on your property. We're neighbors. I don't understand.
Just
I have 5 minutes. Please don't interrupt.
Just tell me
Please don't
which
interrupt.
item
No, I'm not going to tell you
related
anything. You're wasting my time as usual. You do this all the time. It's a defensive act that you have.
Sir.
Please stop the
I'm
clock.
trying to understand and put this in perspective. I know that you are a candidate.
Excuse me. You are using my time for your dribble. Stop, okay?
Excuse me.
Why don't you be transparent? If that's the way you want, if I have to come up here and argue with you, I don't want to. I want to speak to you like a human being.
No one
I have to argue.
wants
Why don't you be transparent and let me see your building file to see how you're coming into compliance? You're denying my FOIL request. Okay, I don't think as a resident I should have to argue and speak over you. I have 5 minutes and you'll cut me off when the time is up. Okay? I'd like to know if you received New York State Rising grants, and if you did, how you got them, because you don't have any building permits. To move on, someday you may answer that, someday you won't. Okay? Now, if we can move on in a civilized manner without you interrupting me. I was over at the Litauer estate yesterday. I'd like to say that the place really looks great. It's a real big difference. As a matter of fact, I'm not complimenting you. Okay? What I'd like to say, though, is for well over 2 years, I've been trying to get information regarding the New York State grant, that was a $250,000 grant that was used on the North Barn, and the $25,000 match grant that was used on trees and planting there. I have a whole stack of emails from Andy Rothstein. Andy knows I've been asking him for this for a number of years. He refuses to cooperate and to provide me the information. Yes, Andy, don't say no. If you'd like me to FOIL it, if that's what it comes to, that's what I have to do. But as a resident, excuse me, you're interrupting me again. As a resident, I think that I should be able to review those contracts and understand what's going on. I think if you were transparent, you would allow that. I'd like to know what's happening with the $300,000 that Harinder Singh owes us. So, back in July, Town Attorney Frank Scalera made a comment that we plan on collecting the money, but I haven't heard anything since.
State and also the media, and that question will be asked to you.
I got a chance to stop over at 180, at Ships Point Lane, and again, this is something that I don't understand why FOIL requests are needed. Right, you're going to do some work there. I'm going to have some video coming out. There's a lot of questionable stuff going on. Number one, there's a storm grate at the end of that street, so that's county property, okay? Number two, half of the seawall belongs to a local resident there. It's just, like, whether or not the work needs to be done, whether or not, what that story is, the bottom line is you're not being transparent, allowing anyone to look at
Actually, we are, sir. You brought this up at the last meeting.
Yes, and you know what? You denied my FOIL request for the same material. You're not being transparent.
Questions, and yet that didn't satisfy you because now you're back making the same claims when you...
Yes, because you refused to answer my FOIL request. I haven't seen any of the records. I haven't seen any of the material that explains exactly. I don't know what you're doing at Ships Point Lane. Nobody knows. All we know is that you're doing a bulkhead over there. You're doing a thing. The last thing I want to bring your attention is, because I'm running out of time because you keep interrupting me, is, listen, I have these Town of Oyster Bay.
Only interrupt.
You're very rude, sir. You're very rude. These are the Town of Oyster Bay vehicle master inquiries for the stage trailers that the town has. These are the trailers that you utilize to promote yourself. And what's really strange is, I don't know if any of you have ever looked at the cost of these things, but we're spending a ton of money in parts and labor, and even fuel, which I don't understand because these things are all towed. For instance, you got a one stage trailer that we bought, and it's a 95. We paid $60,000 for it, and these are from 2015, okay? I haven't gotten any updated ones. Mr. Vendetto gave me these back in 2015 in his clubhouse in Massapequa. This trailer from 95, we spent over $100,000 on the thing already. The newest trailer that we have is a 206. all right? We paid $114,000 on it in 2006, and yearly to date, between parts, labor, and fuel, we spent over $20,000 on it. I mean, I have an RV, I trailer, I do most of the maintenance myself. I haven't spent any money like this at all. I'd like to know who's doing this work and what exactly is being done. This is more stuff that I imagine we could foil.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Saladino. Maybe you'll answer those questions about your permits and your rising stuff someday.
It's important to point out the previous speaker is a candidate for office and has used this podium and this.
Why is it important to point that out? You do the same.
Inappropriately. Our next speaker is Stephen Myers.